have the former Secretary General of Joy Youth Council, Alfred Kemepalo. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Well, let's begin this conversation with what you have just listened to. What do you make of all that is going on, especially the issues being raised about factions of Ipman and whatever it is that is being done to upgrade the refineries?
Yeah, I'm more concerned with the brewing strike and not for organizations such as Ipman, TUC or Labour to take advantage of the up in petroleum products to cause more hardship for poor Nigerians. That's why I'm not interested in their politics, because almost every organization that is supposed to be working hard for Nigerians to get it better has been politicized, just like our institutions.
Also playing out here.
Sorry, say again.
You think that is what is also playing out here?
Yeah, that is what is playing out here. Let me remind you, OPEC released the data at about sometime last year or 2 years ago that from about 2015 to about 2019 that the Nigerian government spent about $260 billion. That's within the neighborhood of 130 trillion Nigerian naira. Importing petroleum products. Same period, OPEC also released the data that the Nigerian government got just about $206 billion from the export of same petroleum products. So which means between import and export, instead of the country making profit, we had a deficit of about $58 billion. So that's within the deficit neighborhood of about 30 trillion naira. Depends the way you calculate it. So you now begin to ask questions that in all of these periods, knowing that from the Jonathan administration, where fuel was up to about 97 naira, that Oshodi and other parts of Nigeria was locked down, Labour as it is, be it Ipman and others, should have known that we are on a trajectory, we are on a journey that will be counterproductive to the advancement of our cause as Nigerians and as people. Labour should have known better that that constant practice will only export jobs out of this country and, like they say, import poverty. Now, going beyond that, the Labour and other organizations were here when the petroleum products were raised to about 147 naira per liter. Nobody spoke about it. There was no demonstration. There was no strike. Now it's about 151 and maybe to a free fall or a free rise. And you are all trying to come and demonstrate. So the valid question is, what were you doing as Labour and as TUC all this period? Were you waiting for these things to happen, like Nigerians are asking, so that you can go behind and negotiate with the federal government, negotiate Nigerians out and take your own share? Or is it possible that most of these organizations may have even negotiated behind with the federal government and say, okay, I know you are raising it to 150 or 1, but just raise it to 151 point something. We'll do a little demonstration and you bring it down to 150 and you give us something. Because the right thing for Labour and any meaningful Nigerian to do is that in the wake of all these things, they should have interrogated the system called NNPC way before now. And if they had not done it before now, that is what they ought to be doing. NNPC, what is happening? We know that this pattern of life and this pattern of importation vis-a-vis exportation is not favorable to our economy. Where are the timelines? How can we fix our refineries? Whether you call it NNPC, Eleme refinery, you call it Warri refinery, Kaduna refinery, or these refineries that are getting people promoted and working for not producing anything. You begin to ask questions, how do we fix them up, and give timelines? And if they cannot, you talk to the federal government how they can give incentives, be it tax holidays, grants, or whatever the federal government will give to private actors, such as the ones taking place. There's a refinery, the modular refineries taking place all over. You begin to ask questions how these things can come to stream, so that they will not only refine petroleum products for the use of Nigerians, they will also create the jobs that they are talking about. And we will refine so much that Nigeria will be self-sufficient and will begin to export to the neighboring countries. That is what Labour should have been thinking about.
Clearly,
not
you're
to take
saying
advantage of any pronouncement by government to also institute their strike so that they can be factored into the negotiation process where something can get to them.
Well, clearly you're saying
it's
that
not working for Nigerians. If they think they are fooling Nigerians are not getting fooled by the day.
Right.
We're getting tired. And yes, we are all here saying that, okay, the government has not done this, the government has not done this, we are tired. Even you, who is supposed to be the representative of the common man, your activities are seeming worse than the government that you are condemning.
Well,
So
from what you have said,
they are having their meetings today.
Right. Can you hear me? From what you have said, it seems you're implying that Labour has failed so far, but you understand that a section of Labour has given a 7-day ultimatum to the government saying you have to reverse this. Well, you think that, well, this should have been done much earlier, but in the light of the recent actions by Labour, the agitations, the fact that they've met with the government and it seems as though it ended in a deadlock, do you think that we can trust Labour to achieve what they're saying they want to achieve?
Let me ask you a question. Labour is giving the government ultimatum to reverse. Reverse to what end? Reverse to what now? Reverse to 147.